Hi, and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy, and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Saturday, September 27th, 2025. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I'm hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram called the Make 9 2025 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 challenge, where you can choose 9 projects that you would like to work on this year. Post a grid of your projects to Instagram and include the hashtag Make 9 2025 Mal, and then anytime that you post a picture of one of your works in progress or one of your finished objects, you can also include that hashtag, and then that will enter you in the prize drawing to win a prize, which I draw periodically throughout the year. It's never too late to enter the make-along because it's just a participatory make-along. You're not required to finish anything, so don't hesitate to join in. You can include whips, and any crafts are allowed as well. I have a few more prizes to give away today, and again, all of these prizes were generously donated to me by viewers of this channel. The first prize I attempted to give away a couple of episodes ago, but I never heard from the winner, so I'm going to try again with a new winner, and it is 4 skeins of Patton's Classic Wool Worsted in the Royal Purple colorway. It includes 100 grams in each skein. They're 100% pure new wool, and it has a total of 210 yards per skein, and there are 4 of them. And the winner of this prize is at Makes by Mia on Instagram. Congratulations to you. For you and all of the winners that I am going to announce today, if you would please just get in contact with me through direct message on Instagram and let me know your mailing information. I will be so happy to get these off in the mail to you all as soon as possible. The second prize includes 3 cakes or balls of Rowan spray, which is 100 grams in each of these balls of yarn, and each of them is 60% wool, 40% acrylic, and it's like a bulky weight, I think. Let me see if I can find it on here. It's gotta be, so there's 87 yards to 100 grams. So it is a thicker weight, but I'm not exactly sure what it's classified as. But anyway, there are 3 skeins of this, and the shade number is 004. And it's just got this really cool variegation to it. 2 of the balls have bands. The 3rd ball does not have a band, but anyway, these are going together. And then also with this prize, I will be including this cute set of stitch markers or progress keepers from Jimmy Beans. And then, or maybe it was sold by Jimmy Beans and then the actual maker is Sunrise Grove, maybe? And it includes these 3 autumnal themed progress keepers that are super cute. So the winner of these prizes is Denise at knitter_big D. Congratulations to you, Denise. And then the 3rd prize is going to be receiving 4 of these big balls of Serdar Girlfriend. They are 50 grams each, and they include 109 yards. The colorway for this, or the shade number, is 256. They are also a bulkier weight, I believe, although maybe it is more just of a worsted weight with 50 grams including 109 yards. I guess that would be more of a worsted weight. It seems really thick and fluffy though. The content of this is 48% acrylic, 34% wool, and 18% nylon. And there are 4 of these balls of yarn for this prize. And the winner of these is at Ray and Jean. Congratulations to you as well. Thank you so much to everybody who has continued to participate in this make-along. I truly appreciate your participation, and congratulations to those winners. And again, don't hesitate to join in throughout the year at any time. You're very welcome to join in at any time, and I'm so happy to have a lot of you all participating in the make-along. It has been a little bit longer since I recorded my last episode. Typically I record every 2 weeks, and I believe it's been 3 weeks now since I've recorded an episode, but I only have a couple of finished objects during that time. The first one I've already gifted, but I did pre-record a little clip showing off that finished object, and I will insert that now. I have literally just finished this beautiful shawl that I have knitted for my friend Tina, and it is a gift for her birthday. It's a bit belated, but I don't think she'll mind. And I just finished weaving in all the ends on this beauty. I actually don't remember which side is the right and which side is the wrong side, but it doesn't really matter because it's all done in garter stitch, so it's, let me think about it. I think this is the wrong side technically, but I don't think it matters. Anyway, I started this shawl on August 30th and just finished it now. Today is Sunday, September 14th. And I knit it using some Angora yarn that I got in a craft supply trade that my library hosted, where people from the community could bring in the craft supplies that they weren't using anymore and then donate them. And then they had a open day where they put out all of the goods on different tables and allowed people to come in and take whatever they wanted. And I got 23 skeins of this yarn. It doesn't have a ton of information on it, but it is French Angora, 100% French Angora, Parisienne, I guess. There were 10 grams in each of the skeins, and it says super choice, pure rabbit hair, and it was imported by Representative Sales Company, Chicago, Illinois, and made in France. That's all the information I had on it. I believe it's a worsted weight. I did a little bit of research and found a few other brands of yarn that looked really similar to this, and those were classed as a worsted weight. I knit this using US 8 5mm needles. So the original pattern calls for you to use fingering weight yarn, and this is thicker. So I also went up in my needle size to the US 8 for that reason. This is a beautiful design by Stephen West, if I didn't mention that, and it's the dotted rays shawl. And I'm really happy with it. I am hopeful that Tina will love it. The feel of this is just so luxurious and soft and cozy. I only knit through row 30, and at that point I only had one ball of yarn. Well, I should say that differently. I had one ball of yarn that I was working on and one extra ball of yarn at that point, and he recommends that you end at a certain point in the pattern after one of the yarn over rows. So you can see throughout the shawl there's these yarn over big eyelet sections, and he suggests that you could end the shawl at any point after one of those rows. So I had just finished that. That's on row 30 of the pattern. There is a yarn over row like that, and I had just finished that. So I had the ball I was working with plus one more ball of yarn, and I still had to do the I-cord bind off. So I stopped at that point. So I do still have that last ball that I didn't end up needing to use. But, I couldn't do another section with it anyway. So it turned out to be a really good size though. It's my wingspan, which I am 5'10", and so is Tina. So it's a great size. And since it's crescent shaped, it's also going to be very wearable, I think. And throughout the entire pattern, all of the edges are finished off with an I-cord edge. So it makes a really nice finish. So I think she'll love it. She likes to have shawls that are easy to wear, and this one, I think it's wonderful. I hope she loves it so much. It feels so incredibly cozy and soft on. It's amazing. And she loves the color gray too, so I think it will be great. So anyway, it's perfect over the shoulders like this. It's great. And then also you can wrap it around this way, of course. And it will be really nice and wearable this way too. Oh my word, it's so cozy and soft, and I am so excited to gift this to her. I wonder if you can see the fluff though. It's just so fluffy that there's like fluff floating around. So anyway, I just love it. It's so warm and cozy, but I don't think it's itchy at all. I hope Tina doesn't think it's itchy. I really don't. I just think it's so soft and warm and cozy. It's just incredible. So I really enjoyed the process of making this. I've definitely thought about making this pattern again because it was really an enjoyable pattern. Super easy, but lovely and enjoyable. So anyway, I'm hoping to get together with Tina really soon to give this to her, and I hope that she will absolutely love it. Oh, I'm not going to block it. Like I said, I just got done weaving in all the ends, and I don't really think it needs a block. And I'm wondering if I were to block it, would it lose some of this fluffiness, because it's just so incredible. I mean, I suppose I could block it, but I don't think it needs it. I think it's really great the way it is. I just don't think it's necessary to give it a wet block, in my opinion. And I want to give it to her now. I don't want to wait for it to dry. So I want to give it to her as soon as possible. So anyway, that is the Dotted Rays by Stephen West, and I'm so happy that I have finished it for Tina. So I gifted the beautiful shawl to Tina, and she absolutely loved it, and I'm so thankful that I was able to get it to her and to make it for her. I was really happy to do that, and I'm so glad that she likes it. The other finished object that I have to share with you all is a Musselburgh hat. I was working on this last time, and let's see, I'll open it up so you can see it in its entirety. I should say the Musselburgh hat is a design by Ysolda Teague. It's a very popular pattern, and I believe last time I recorded, I had just started this hat. I had done the crown increases, and I was up in this area where I started knitting in the round. Anyway, I just used up a ton of Knit Picks Felici and a few little scraps of Paintbox yarn socks, or Paintbox socks yarn, something like that. And all of those were self-striping yarns, all fingering weight, 75% wool, 25% nylon type of a blend of yarn. Anyway, I just had a ton of scraps of leftovers from different socks that I have made, and I thought it would be fun to use them up and make this super fun stripy Musselburgh hat. So I cast on I increased to the size of the adult small/child size. I got a gauge of 8 stitches to 1 inch for this pattern. I used US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles. I started this on August 29th and I finished it on September 23rd. And I did knit it to a little bit longer than what is recommended. I knit to 19 inches before doing the decreases. The adult small size says to go to like a little less than that, maybe a little over it. I knit an extra inch or so, maybe a little over an extra inch. But really, it didn't turn out that big. I think it will be more comfortable on a child's head rather than an adult size head, unless I can find somebody that has a very small head. I think my head size is small to average. I think it measures 21 or 22 inches in circumference. Anyway, I tried it on and it fits, but it's pretty snug, and it's still not very deep, even though I knit it to an extra, I went a little bit longer in the length when I knit this. It still isn't that long when it's cuffed up. I mean, you don't have to cuff it. You can wear it this way, and then it has more of a slouch to it. I guess I could put it on so you can get an idea of what I mean. So it fits more comfortably if I don't cuff it, but if I do cuff it, it doesn't still really have very much of a cuff. And I thought it would be extra long because I knit it longer than what was recommended. But I think this is fun because, you know, you can switch it around and the colors are so varying depending on which side of the hat you decide to wear it with. So a kid will probably enjoy this more than an adult would anyway, I would imagine, with all of the fun colors. So I think I'll just save this and gift it to a kid at some point. I don't know who, I don't have anybody in mind, but I'm just going to save it and then gift it to somebody down the road whenever that works out. But I'm really happy I was able to make this and use up all of those little scraps. That was really fun. It was a really fun project to work on. It kept my attention as I was switching out those colors all the time. And it was a really great project to have on the go. I will show you in one of my other works in progress that I got a new crossbody bag, and it worked out so well just to knit straight from my crossbody bag. I had this project in there, and yeah, it just worked out so well that I could work on that while out and about. So anyway, very happy with this other finished object. Okay, I have not started any new projects since my last episode, which is remarkable for me. But I did have a lot of new cast-ons last time I recorded, and so I'm still working on, I'm pretty sure that you have seen all of my works in progress if you've watched previously, but I've just continued to work on all of them. So that's good, and I'm happy that I'm focusing on what I've got on the go already. So I will go ahead and go through all of those projects. My first work in progress is being held in a project bag that I sewed myself, and it is the stripe hype sweater, designed by Veronika Lindberg, also known as Kutuvakika. Last time I recorded an episode, I was working in the round. I had just joined under the sleeves and was working in the round. So there is a progress keeper that was made and gifted to me by Erica of Rose Opal Knits. That's marking where I was last time I recorded. And I have finished the striping on the body, and I'm now working on the 1x1 half twisted ribbing at the bottom. It is about halfway done. I need to do it about twice as long as what it is already. And then I will be done with the body. The beautiful yarn that I'm using was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Rachel. It was dyed by Goosey Fibers. It is on the Goosey Squish base, which is DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it is in a faded kit that was intended to be knit into the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry, but I wanted to use it for this sweater instead. The 4 colorways that I'm using, the main color, or the background color here, is called Cotton Headed Ninny-Muggins. It's a Polar Express themed kit of yarn. The pink color is called Figgy Pudding. The gray toned color is called Son of a Nutcracker, and the blue color is called Polar Express. And I absolutely love how it's looking. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, the original stripe hype calls for you to have 2 new colors striped in on the sleeves, and I don't have any other colors. I'm just going to be using these 4 colorways. I haven't quite decided yet how I'm going to stripe my sleeves. If you have any suggestions, let me know what you think would be cool. So there's enough space, I believe, although that doesn't seem like quite enough, but I'm pretty sure that there's only 2 color stripes on the sleeves, like 2 different colors, and they each have 3 color stripes in each block of color. So if you have any thoughts on what colors I should use for the sleeves and in what order from top to bottom, they're knit from the top down, the whole sweater is, let me know if you have any thoughts on what you think would work best. My initial thought is to start with the blue at the top because the original pattern calls for the sleeves and the body to kind of be mismatched with different colors being introduced. But since I only have these 3 contrast colors, maybe it would be good to start with the gray and then go into the blue, so you kind of still have that same color scheme running down the side of the arms. Since it's a dropped shoulder, you know, the sleeves are going to start here, and so basically the gray and then the blue would kind of match up with the body, I think. But let me know what your thoughts are. I am making the medium size, which is the 3rd size in the pattern, I believe. I think it might be the 4th. Anyway, it's I think it's labeled as the medium size. I am using the recommended needles, which are US 6 4mm needles for the body, and then US 2.53mm needles for the ribbing. I started this on August 15th, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's been quite an easy pattern after I went past the armholes. It's been really easy, just plain stockinette. There were a few decreases along the sides, which I did as the pattern called for. For a while, I was just carrying my yarn instead of cutting it after every stripe. I was just carrying it, but I don't think that was a great idea because I have these holes, and then my yarn, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and stitch up these holes where I did my color striping, because it didn't work out as well as I thought it would. I thought I could just, you know, yarn, I was kind of just twisting my yarn as I was switching colors, but see, now I've got these long loops where I've tried to tighten up those loose stitches. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to go back. As you can see, I decided to start cutting my yarn after I realized that that was not working out very well, but I'll just go back and stitch up these loose stitches after I'm done. Let's see, is there anything else on this one? I don't think so, but I think it's gonna be a fun sweater to have in my wardrobe. I'm really happy with how it's coming along so far, so I'm enjoying it a lot. I feel like I'm forgetting something with that one, but I can't think of what it is, so anyway. My next work in progress, I have put a lot of work into. I have made this huge stack of squares following the pattern by Sandra called the Florentines blanket. Last time I recorded, I shared with you that I had made another 9 blocks, and that got me up to a total of 18 of these blocks. And I originally thought I was going to make a blanket with 5 by 7 squares, so a total of 35 squares, which is larger than the original pattern. The original pattern only calls for you to make 24 squares, with the idea of being able to use an advent calendar, because each of the squares takes about 20 grams of a fun color for the center motif. I guess I could be showing you these motifs I made since last time instead of just talking about them. So the center motif takes a little less than 20 grams of fingering weight yarn held double. And anyway, so the original pattern calls for you to make 24, and I wanted to make mine bigger, so I wanted to make mine, like I said, with a total of 35 squares. I got those 35 squares done, and then I decided that it wasn't big enough for what I wanted. So I decided to make even more, and I decided to do 6 by 8, totaling 48 squares instead. And that is what I have done, and I have completed all of those 48 squares. I am using a 4mm hook. I started this blanket on August 12th. Oh, once I got done with the 35 squares and realized I wanted to make more, I didn't have a ton of scraps that were enough to make more squares. I had a few extras that I could make more squares with, but not enough to make all brand new colorway squares. But I did have leftovers of about 10 grams of 2 different colors, so I could pair 2 different colorways together to make some more squares. And so there are some squares that are pretty matching, but not exactly. None of the squares are exactly matching, but here is an example. These, I think, are probably the closest of all. You can barely tell that there's a difference. Even I am having a hard time telling the difference. But in this square, I held this colorway with itself. And in this square, I held that same colorway with just a variegated purple color, but they were just so well matching that you can hardly tell that they're different from one another. And I did that with quite a few. So these upcoming ones, there's a lot of them that are very similar in the color scheme. So, and when I lay out the squares, I'll just be sure to spread those out. So here's another couple where this one is held with itself. The colorway is held with itself, and then this one is held with a different colorway. But you can tell that they are quite similar in color. For all of the squares, for the last 3 rounds that you change color for, I used just a plain or bare yarn. Again, fingering weight held double. Here's another example where this one is held with itself, the colorway, and then this is held with a different colorway. This one changed quite a bit because the second colorway that I held with this one was a brighter, as you can tell, a brighter pinky rose color. This is a fun one. My daughter had the analogy of a mom square, a dad square, and a baby square because I did this with a few, not a lot, but a few. So here are 2 different squares that I made. So you can, you know, this is the mom, this is the dad, and then I combined them, holding those 2 together to make the baby square. I thought that was kind of a fun analogy, but it's cool to see the transition of the colors from one to the next. I like that a lot. And maybe that's, no, I know I have more like that, but anyway, here's 2 more where this one is held with itself, this one is held with a slightly lighter purple colorway. I block all of these squares out to 6.5 inches, which is a little bit smaller than what Sandra recommends. She recommends 7 inches to block them out, but anyway, that is, I just stretch them as I just stretched them to what I thought looked good and what was kind of a comfortable measurement. And 6.5 inches just worked well for what I was going for, I guess. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay, so I have all of my, like I said, I've got all of the squares done. And so the next step is to add a border in a contrast color is what is recommended. And since I'm actually making this blanket twice as big as the original, like I said, the original called for 24 squares. I'm making mine with 48. So I'm going to need more yarn than what is recommended, of course, in the pattern. And so what I have done is I have pulled 3 colorways that are really similar from my stash that I'm planning on using for the border, for the joining yarn. So there's the next step is to do a join, and you like join the squares together as you crochet the border around each square. And then there's a final border that goes all the way around the outside that I'm going to be using another colorway for. Anyway, I guess I don't have any more of those mom, dad, baby combos here because a lot of the combos were with squares that you saw previously. So anyway, I thought I had more to show you that were like that, but I guess I don't. Here is the last one, of the new squares that I have made. So like, for example, I know this one of the colorways that I have held together in this one, I used to make another square. So anyway, there are more squares that are similar to these that I've already made and you've already seen in previous episodes. Anyway, such a huge stack. I have thoroughly enjoyed working on this project, and now I'm super excited to lay it out and see if I can get a good layout of how I want the squares to be in the final blanket. Here are the 3 colorways that I have picked out to use for the next joining round. So you can see that they're very similar, and I'm pretty sure I need almost, this is 300 grams of yarn, and I'm going to need almost all of that, I believe, for the joining section. So I'm just planning on holding 2 of these yarns together and just, you know, just using these 3 throughout and just spreading the 3 different colors out as much as I can. So I'm planning on holding, for example, these 2 together for a square, and then these 2 together for a square, and then the outside 2 colors together for a square, and just kind of randomly spreading out those 3 colors, always holding 2 of these colors together as I'm doing that joining round. So hopefully that works out and makes still quite a cohesive looking joining round for the blanket. I hope it looks good. I think it will though, because I think those 3 colors really blend nicely together. I think that covers everything for that one for now. So I will continue working on that one and hopefully have quite a bit more done next time I share an episode with you all. Okay, on to more works in progress. I am holding a pair of socks in this cute bag that was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Nicole. It was made by Stitchin' You Bags, and I am making a pair of socks using some Knit Picks Felici yarn in the Sanderson colorway, and that is fingering weight yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and I am making the Fairgrounds socks, a design by K.F. Jones of the Bakery Bears. This is the first time I have knit this pattern, but I have admired it for a long time, and I am really happy with how it's coming along. I haven't put a ton of progress into these, considering it's been 3 weeks since I've recorded an episode last, but they're coming along. I have a progress keeper on here that my cousin made for me, which is absolutely adorable. Let's see if I can show you how cute that is. So that shows you where I was last time. I really haven't put a ton of work into these socks, but they're coming along beautifully. I love the patterning in this pattern. It's so beautiful. It's a 4-round repeat, and 3 of those rounds are plain, and then there's just 1 row that you have to pay attention to. I have a little stitch marker. What do I want to say? I have these stitch markers set up so that I can keep track of what round I'm on. So my color stripes, as you can see, go orange, black, purple. So my stitch markers also go orange, black, purple, and then for the patterning round, I have this silver stitch marker, and so I just put whichever round I'm on. So I have 1, 2, 3 plain rounds and then a patterned round. That way I can keep track of which round I'm on without having to really pay attention quite as much. That's working out well for me. I cast on the medium size, which is 64 stitches, US 0.2mm needles, and the ribbing is 1x1 ribbing for, I think I did 19 rounds, which was just where my 3 color stripe ended. The original pattern I think calls for 20 rounds, but that doesn't really matter. And I am planning on knitting the legs to probably around 70 rounds for the leg section, because I like a long leg in my socks, before I move on to the heels. I started these on, let's see, on August 29th. So yeah, they're taking a little bit longer just because I haven't focused on them quite as much as some of my other projects. My next work in progress is being held in another bag that I sewed myself. And this project has had a bit of a modification. I started off making the Cuff Club Volume 2 pattern for the month of September, designed by Summer Lee. And I shared that with you last time I recorded. I'm using some yarn that I dyed myself. And I knit the cuff, which is this beautiful cable pattern. And I cast on the medium size for these socks as well, which again is 64 stitches. For my socks, I normally go down to a 60 stitch count for a better fit. I'm not doing that with the Fairground socks just because of the patterning. I have to pick one of the sizes that's provided. I can't really adjust the patterning to only have 60 stitches without messing with the pattern. For these, I started with the cuff, the 64 stitches for the cuffs, again using US 0 2mm needles. I started these on September 1st. And then after I got done with the cuff, when I got into the leg where it's just plain stockinette, I reduced my stitch count to 60 stitches since it was just going to be plain stockinette, and I know that that fits my foot best. Now I have a bit of a story, I guess. For the Cuff Club Volume 1 that Summerlee designed, I knit all of those patterns starting in August when that Cuff Club started, and I knit socks every month following her pattern until the month of May. And I started making that sock, and for some reason, all of my other socks that I had made from August until May, I had done the same thing, adjusting the stitch count and my needle size to get a good fit with those are all color work cuff clubs. And anyway, I was able to get a great fit on all of those socks until the month of May. I didn't change anything. I still kept my same adjustments with my stitch count and my needle sizes and everything to get a nice loose color work section in the cuff to be able to fit my foot. But for some reason in the month of May when I made my socks, they were way tight and I could not get them over my high instep. I got discouraged and I ended up ripping those out completely. I thought about just ripping back and starting over, but after I ripped back past the color work and I just had the cuff, I was like, I really don't want to do this right now. I just ripped it all out. And I never tried again with those. I didn't do any more colorwork cuff club for last year for Volume 1. I didn't do any more because I guess I was just discouraged, and I don't know. I just didn't make any more of those colorwork cuff club socks for the Volume 1. Anyway, when Summerlee came out with the Cuff Club Volume 2, I got it, and now this month is the first time I've joined in making the pattern, and I was excited to make these socks, but after I got pretty far through the leg, I think I was about 50 rounds into the leg, I thought I should try these on, and I did, and guess what? The cuff, again, is way too tight, and this time it's because of the cabling, because cables bring the gauge of your knitting in quite a bit. It tightens your gauge a lot. Those twisted stitches throughout the cables really make the material that you're knitting more of a tight gauge. And that's my problem. This cuff is so tight and doesn't have as much stretch as it normally would. And it's too hard to get over my high instep. And I was like, oh no, not again. So anyway, because on the May socks, I forgot to mention, I was ready to start the heel when I finally tried them on and realized they were too tight. Anyway, I was discouraged with these as well. And at first I thought, well, I'm just going to knit these socks. And then when I'm all done, I'll go back, I'll cut out the beautiful cabled cuff, and I'll just knit a regular ribbed cuff in the opposite direction and then bind off at the top. But then I thought, maybe I could make these into mittens instead. So I tried them on my hand, and it fits my hand perfectly. And so I have made some adjustments and added a thumb hole, and I'm making these into mittens. That's a long story to tell you about this project, but I didn't know. I wanted to explain it well. But anyway, I'm really happy with how this is. Now, I ended up knitting an extra, so I think it was, like I said, about 50 rounds into the leg of the sock when I realized they were going to be too tight. I tried them on, and I really liked how it went down quite a ways onto my arm, whereas, a normal mitten would probably be up here. But I really liked it, and in fact wanted it to be even a little extra long. So I knit a total of 60 rounds on the plain stockinette section. And then I put 16 stitches onto some waste yarn for the thumb opening. And then I cast on 8 stitches and And now I'm still just knitting stockinette in the round with that. So I have 8 less stitches, so I have a total of 52 stitches on my needles right now per mitten. Here is another progress keeper that my cousin Allie made for me. And that's marking where I was last time I recorded, which I had just finished the cuff and was barely into the stockinette section. I was all twisted around with my yarn on that, but it's just such a cute little pumpkin progress keeper here. So sweet. So anyway, that's where I was last time I recorded. So I am really excited about these now. I think that they will be great for a few reasons. I think they'll be great because they're made out of fingering weight yarn, and so they're not going to be super thick and warm, but they'll be a great, I think I'll be able to wear them, you know, they'll be perfect for fall because of the colors and because they're not like a super heavy mitten. I'm planning on making them a closed finger mitten, not a fingerless mitten, but I'm planning on making a regular mitten. I did take a look at the World's Simplest Mitten, which is a free pattern by Tin Can Knits, and it does include directions for making mittens using fingering weight yarn. My stitch count is different than what they have in their pattern, but I'm probably going to be looking at that, especially for the decreases up here at the top and maybe the thumb instructions as well. But I can also just continue to try it on as I'm working along and custom fit them to my hands. Anyway, I also think these might be good when it does get colder to have a second layer. So I could put this thin layer on before I put on a heavier glove over top to just have an extra layer of warmth when the temperatures dip even further. So I think they'll be nice, and I like that the beautiful cable work will, you know, be more visible having it on my wrist rather than on my ankle. You probably, or even up higher on my leg, because I was planning on making these long. So anyway, I don't know, I think they'll be great as mittens. So I'm super excited that I was able to make these work, even though they weren't fitting like I was as I had first intended them to. But anyway, I'm excited to continue working on these, and hopefully they'll turn out pretty well. My next work in progress, I am holding it in this new crossbody bag that I mentioned, which I just love. It is so handy to have. So I wear it like this, and then I keep my knitting in this big pocket that's closest to me. And I can just pull my knitting out and knit right from my bag, which is so great. I'm just so thrilled with this setup that I have going on here. So this project that I am working on is a modified version of the classic ribbed hat, which is a free pattern on the Purl Soho website. It is designed by Jake Canton. I started off with the stitch count for the adult small size, but I am doing knit 2, purl 2 instead of knit 1, purl 1 for the ribbing. And I'm probably almost done with the ribbing, and then I'm planning on modifying it. So the original pattern is 1 by 1 ribbing for the entirety of the hat, but I'm only planning on doing ribbing for about 4 inches, and it looks like I'm about there. I need to measure it. And then I'm planning on going into plain stockinette and using a bunch of scraps of DK weight yarn, all acrylic leftover scraps that I have in my stash. And then, so this ribbed part will be folded up as a cuff, and then the rest of it I'm just planning on making in plain stockinette. I am using US 3.25 millimeter needles. I started this on August 30th. Obviously haven't worked on it very much, but after I finished the Musselburgh hat, that is what I was holding in this bag, and so now this is my nice, easy travel project that I have on the go. So that's great. I'm just so pleased that I don't know, can have this crossbody bag and have my knitting with me all the time, and it's really easy to whip it out and work on it whenever. So I'm happy about that. My last work in progress I have to share with you all is an Afghan that I'm working on, and I'm getting very close to the finish line on this one. I have been working on it for quite a while. It is called Garden Romance. I started it on May 31st. It is designed by Nair Carswell, and it comes from this book called A Year of Afghans, Book 5. It is a leisure arts publication. Here is a picture of the original pattern. And in the original pattern, the designer used 4 colors. I'm only using 3 colors in my version, but I am changing my yarn colors every 2 rows as recommended in the pattern. I'm holding this blanket in this beautiful thrifted basket, and I am using some more yarn that was gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Mickey. The yarn is a bit of a mystery. Mickey did tell me that it is Caron brand, but that's all that I know. Besides, I know that it's worsted weight 100% acrylic as well, but I don't know anything about the colorways or the line of yarn. I assume that it's Caron Simply Soft, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm using an H5mm hook for this project. And I followed the pattern. I'm following the pattern exactly, except that I'm only using 3 colors instead of 4. Otherwise, I'm following the pattern for the stitch count and everything. I'm also probably not going to be following the pattern for the length because I'm just going to be knitting this to as long as I can using these 3 colors. So anyway, last time I recorded, I was right there where that horse progress keeper is marking, and that was gifted to me by a friend of mine named Abby, and I've made a lot of progress on this. Here I am now, and the horse progress keeper is way down here. So I've made a lot of progress on this blanket, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's nice and long already. You can get an idea of how long it is, but it's pretty long already. And originally, I never measured it, but I thought that all 3 of these colorways that I have each came in a bag like this. And it says on the bag that there is 400 grams in the bag. That's all the information I have about the yarn, besides that Mickey let me know it was Caron brand. But I am running out of the variegated yarn, and I still have a full skein of both the red and the orange that I haven't even started using. But the variegated yarn, I only have this little bit left. So I guess there wasn't quite an equal amount. I never weighed it, like I said. Maybe there was 400 grams of this, and then there was extra of the other 2 colorways. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet, but anyway, I'm just going to make it as long as I can following this color repeat. But I think I only have enough to do, I started with the red, and so my color repeat goes red, variegated, orange. I think I only have enough to do, after I finish this orange stripe, I think I only have enough to do 1 more repeat of those 3 colors. I think I only have enough of the variegated to do 1 more of that colored stripe. But that's okay. I think it'll be long enough. In the original pattern, there is a border that I think I'll use the red color and add in that border. I'll give it a try and see if I like it anyway. But it's just a real thin, they use the green color for the border. I think it just goes up both sides. It's not, I don't think it's really necessary if I don't like how it looks, because the edges on this blanket lay nice and flat. I think, I guess it has, no, I think it lays pretty well. Sometimes you can kind of get an edge that curls, but I think this blanket, it has a really nice edge. So I don't know that it really needs to have a border along the edges here. And also the original pattern has these long tassels on it. I don't know if I'll do that or not. I definitely would have enough of both the red and the orange to either do one or the other, or to do both colors for some tassels or fringe. What's that called? I always get mixed up on those terms. Let's see. Continued on page 76. Fringe, they call it. So they call for about an 8-inch fringe on both sides. So I don't know if I'll add that or not. Let me know what you think. Do you think that this is a gift? This is going to be a gifted blanket. I don't know to whom I will gift it at this point. I'm just going to save it and then have it in my stash to give as a gift down the road. But I don't know if fringe is a great choice for a gift or if it's better not to have fringe. My thought is to not add it because it's a little excessive. But maybe it would be nice. So let me know your thoughts on that too if you have any opinions about that. Anyway, so I can really, see the end, the end of this project is coming near at hand, and I'm excited to finish it up. It's just been perfect this time of year. The colors are great for fall, and it's cool enough now in the mornings, especially when I've been working on it, that it's really nice to have it covering me while I'm working on it. So that's been wonderful. And I have enjoyed this stitch pattern so much. It's just a 1-row repeat. Every row is the same, and you just switch colors every 2 rows. So I have enjoyed that so much. I have had to weave in quite a few ends on the edges here, just this one side. Here's one little tail that I haven't done yet, but I've done it along the way so it's not too overwhelming. It doesn't really work to crochet over your ends with this pattern, and it helps it to be more secure if you actually weave them in anyway, I think, probably on this pattern. But that's been going really well as well. And anyway, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the process of making this blanket, and yeah, I'm excited to see it finished as well. So those are all of my works in progress. I do have an update, however, that I wanted to share with you all regarding the few items that I sent off to our Nebraska State Fair. I sent off 5 objects to the Nebraska State Fair for the first time. I often will enter my crocheted and knitted items into our county fair, but I've never participated in the state fair before. This is my first time trying that out, and it was a great experience. Like I said, entered 5 items, and 4 of those 5 items won prizes. So I wanted to share with you all what won a prize and what it won. So first of all, I entered this pair of socks. This again was one of the Colorwork Cuff Club socks from last year's Colorwork Cuff Club by Summer Lee. This was the first pattern from the month of August last year. I entered these, and I won a first place ribbon for these. And yeah, so I'm not 100% sure on how placement works for the state fair, but my impression is that of all of there's different categories. So for all of the class that these were under was called Accessory Advanced. It's AP. I think it means Advanced. I don't know what the P stands for, but something like, I don't know, a higher, color work fits into the advanced category. So that's why these are in the AP category. Anyway, so accessories, AP, socks, slippers is the category that these socks were entered under. I believe that of that category, these got first. Like of everything that was submitted in this specific category, these got the first prize. And I think that there's only one thing that gets the first prize. In the county fair, it's different, which I've explained before, where it's more of a grading system and lots of people can get first prize all in the same category if it's great work. But I think at the state level, it's different. But I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that's the first one. Then let's see, I entered my excavation blanket, which I finished last year. and I won't show it in its entirety, but maybe I'll try to link to the episode where this was a finished object earlier this year. And this one I entered in the home category, hand knit. So instead of AP, this is the hand knit. So it's more of just like basic knitting category. Adult Afghan, lap robe, or throw. That's the category that this blanket was entered into, and it got second place. So that was wonderful as well. I was really hoping, our family was really hoping to go to the state fair and see my things on display, and hopefully then I would have gotten a better idea of how the placement worked and everything. But it's about a 2.5 hour drive to our state fair, and the day that we were planning on going, there was an 80% chance of rain that day, and we just decided that we really didn't want to make that long of a trip for us to get there and it be raining for the majority of the day. So we decided not to go, unfortunately. The other item that I entered is this sweet little baby cardigan that I crocheted, and I kind of followed a pattern for the yoke section, but then kind of did my own thing for the rest of this pattern. Anyway, this one won, well, it was under the crochet section, garment, infant / child, and it also won a first place prize. And then my other item that I entered, that I also entered a baby blanket, but that did not get any prize, which of course is fine. But the blanket that I entered that did get a prize is my flower hexie blanket. And again, I'll try to link to the episode where I showed this off as a finished object so that you can get a better idea of what it looks like and how I made it and such if you're interested. This one got a lot of recognition, which is so exciting. So it was entered under Crochet Afghans Adult, and it won this first place, well, it got a first place ribbon, and then it also won Best of Division. So I think that means of all of the crochet, this got the best, I think that's what that means. Special placing, Best of Division. I don't know, like, if there's like, I don't know. I really don't know what other types of awards are given in the crochet department, but that's what this one got. And then this blanket also got Reserve Best of Show. So I think that means, I think it's like runner up, maybe. And maybe that, and I'm not really sure if it's under all of the textile arts, which is like the umbrella section for the knitting and crocheting and weaving and anything like that. Maybe even quilting? I don't know. I'm not sure. But there was a Best of Show in the textile arts, and then this one got Reserve Best of Show. So I think that means like runner up, maybe, but I'm not really sure. But I'm so happy that I did win some special prizes. I think that's so cool, and they're purple. So I love them. They're so pretty. So anyway, I really don't know a ton about what I won. I'm kind of a little clueless because I'm rather new to how they award things at the state fair level, but I thought it'd be interesting for you all to see what I got from the state fair. So anyway, I was happy to participate, and hopefully I'll be able to do that again in upcoming years. And it'd be really fun if I could actually go to the state fair and see my stuff on display there. That would be really cool. All right, that is all that I have to share with you all today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the things that I've been working on, and I really hope that you're enjoying the things that you're working on as well. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.